I get sentimental about certain cars.
Over a mile and a half from Andretti.
Cars that tell a story.
There's the checkered flag for Mario Andretti.
I've been building and racing cars for 20 years now, and it still gives me tremendous satisfaction.
What I think excites me the most about building cars is the journey, the starting of it all, finding the car, knowing what the car was, knowing what the car can be.
Working with Gran Turismo and Mario Andretti, we're going right back to the beginning, to where it started. It's a love story. It's reuniting with a first love.
Andretti accelerates off that last turn. Listen to the crowd. Already going berserk with a victory for Andretti. His second here in Long Beach. Mario Andretti from Nazareth, Pennsylvania.
Always saying, you're on that dance floor, you gotta dance, whether you like the music or not.
One of only 3 drivers to win on paved ovals, road courses, and dirt tracks in a single season.
Wanting to win this race so bad that you can't believe it.
The only man to win Driver of the Year award in 3 different decades.
You'd be surprised when you really want to be there and you want to excel, how you find a way. You just find a way. I was born and raised in Italy, and we were living in Montona, and the family did not have a car. But for some reason, we were captured by this aura of racing. Aldo and I actually, we built a little buggy with the 4 wheels and a little steering, and we were pushing each other down the one hill, which was in front of our house, and it was pretty steep hill, and then it was slightly level, and then was turning. We wouldn't just go and drive nice. We'd go, we just lean it over, things like that. After the Second World War, the border shifted, and we were trapped inside the communist country, which at the time the occupation was Yugoslavia. We moved on to Lucca, which we were in a refugee camp for 7.5 years. And there was a garage next to where the main entrance was. And we befriended the owners there, and they were repairing and also parking cars. So that's where we learned how to drive, at like age 11, 12. In 1954, they decided to take us to Monza to see the Italian Grand Prix. At the time, on the sports side, motor racing was so prominent with Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, It just captivated us. The sound of the engines were just, it was so awesome. There was something about danger, there's a lure somewhere, I guess. The one that I was really interested in at that point was Alberto Ascari, who was driving for Ferrari. He was current world champion. Just the way he was being described by the press, like ice blood flowing through his veins and, just very relaxed but aggressive. And I can tell you that the mold was cast that day. And I said, please, dear God, if there's one wish you could grant me, to become a race driver someday in my life. Arriving to America was very exciting from the standpoint that what is going to be like, what is going to be. And I remember clearly the sailing under the Statue of Liberty, and then you're looking at the backdrop of Manhattan. And we made our way to Nazareth. We arrived there in midweek. I think it was a Thursday or something like that. And Sunday night, the following Sunday night, we were just there and, after dinner, and all of a sudden we see lights, bright lights in the background. And all of a sudden, a big roar. And so I figured there's a race going on somewhere. So Aldo and I looked at each other. We booked. It was a fairground. Local fairground, and a half-a-mile track. We were just peeking through the fence, and they had these brute modified cars. I think, oh my God, they look like little monsters, compared to Formula One cars, but it looked very doable. Like you look at a Formula One car and figure, oh gosh, I couldn't build that. But this figure, almost something clicked, you know, it says, this looks like could be viable, you know, for us to get involved in. So clearly, all of a sudden, America will not be too bad after all. Aldo and I, we started going to the races. We go to every Sunday. And we don't know when, but we figure, you know, we're going to figure out a way to get involved. You know, you develop friendships and you talk. And I figure, you know, why don't you guys start building a car? There was a suggestion to build something that was very popular in the NASCAR circuit. The NASCAR circuit was becoming, obviously, it was really picking up steam, and factories were involved. You had Ford, Chevy, Chrysler. At that time, it was Hudson.
Get an all-new Hudson with all-season air conditioning. A Hudson V8, the most beautiful performer of them all.
And on the short tracks, the Hudson were really, you know, were the ones that were winning most of the races. So the suggestion was, why don't you build a Hudson? Go get a Hudson, you know, in the junkyard. All you need is the shell. And then start, you know, building and putting all the characteristics that you need. To do that, you need some money, right? So we didn't have much money, you know, but we scrambled here and there. Oh, yeah, I got a couple of bucks, this and that. So we gathered a few dollars to buy the car, buy some parts. You know, as you can imagine, we had no place of our own. Ivo Taviani was the one that actually gave us a garage because we had to keep the car there. And, you know, we got busy. We, little by little, just learning what we need. The interior, basically, it's an empty shell. For the seat, we took two, like, I think we're like, I don't know, probably 25-gallon barrels, then padded it. Padded all around and just tape, just regular electric tape and so forth. And then for a fuel tank, to be safe, we used a beer keg.
Straight, everything seized, water pump seized. The car that Mario and his brother Aldo actually raced was a 1948 Hudson, and the car that we've managed to find is a slightly later one, about a 52, 53. They're actually at the core the same car underneath, they're just different trim packages. They change those kind of things over the year to update them. The core of it, the bones of it are correct. It's the 6-cylinder flathead, single carb, correct body, 2-door coupe. This we can turn into Mario's race car.
We started in 1957. To be legal, driving legal, you had to be 21. So we have until 1961. Technically, we got 4 years to build this thing, so it should be easy, right? 2 years later, 1959, car was ready to go. Painted, beautiful, number 7, probably lucky number. And that's it, you know, we were ready to go, so we figure, well, Aldo, are we gonna wait 2 years? No. The anxiety and everything was just unbelievable going into that race day because we had no idea, you know, how, you know, we would fare. And the question was, who first? Coin toss, and Aldo wins the toss. And I was happy because see how he does. We're watching, and he's passing cars. It's only a 10-lap heat, and he wins the heat. $25. That alone, you know, was encouraging because we had, you know, we had some debts. So the pressure was on for me the following weekend, you know, because Aldo goes on and he wins, so that was my turn. I had the proverbial butterflies, and quite honestly, you know, I always say that, you know, that I always said, well, someday I'm going to be so confident and I'm not going to have any butterflies anymore. You know, I'm going to be. You know something? To the very last race, the same butterflies were always there. And what I came to realize was that unless they were there, it would have been meaningless to do what I was doing. That means it was that important. To me, just the fact that we were a part of the scene, we were racing. I feel I could get in the car today and just feel like I never left it.